most people don't understand you. They put you out there and think you're the guy, you're the Goldman guy, you're the hardcore Republican guy, and they're surprised when they hear about your work with gay rights. They're surprised when you hear your blue collar backgrounds. They're surprised with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the other thing you have to do. If you go into politics, and this is a message for your viewers, if you go into politics, it's like being in a rugby match or football. I can't suit up for the Super Bowl and get hit across the secondary and get a concussion and complain about it. So I took the job. You have to expect to be attacked. You have to expect to be eviscerated, demonized, caricaturized. I'm Italian, so they can go after me stereotypically. You're dressed like the mobster, but because I'm Italian, I am the mobster, right? Seth Meyers called me a human pinky ring. If I was black, he could never call me a human piece of fried chicken. But in America, if you're Italian, I'm Jim Tan Laundry, Jersey Shore, human pinky ring. But P.S. guys, I went to Harvard Law School. My dad was a crane operator, so you can't really call me the situation from the Jersey Shore. Right. Whatever, I don't care. I'm just making the observation, and I'm telling you and your listeners and viewers, if you want to go into politics, what your grandmother said was true, and you should live by what your grandmother said. And my grandmother told me what other people think of me is none of my business. And so whatever people say about me, I could care less. I'm just going at it, living who I am, and let the chips fall where they may. But listen, I grew up in a blue-collar family. My dad was a member of a union. He spent 42 years as a crane operator on Long Island mining sand, which was shipped by barge to Long Island City, was mixed into concrete. And the sand mine that my dad worked at for 42 years, 65% of the concrete that created the New York City, the Manhattan-based skyscrapers came from my hometown. Wow. And that's where I was raised. It was a great place to grow up. It was a very good public school system. I got a great public school education. When I got into the Tufts, the standing joke in my house was my father thought it was spelled Toughs. I mean, he had no clue. Nobody in my family had gone to college. And so it was my brother and I, we were the only two people, and frankly, we're the only two people of our generation in our family that went to college.
And they wanted you to go, or
no
you
question.
Wanted to go?
No, that was a big impetus. My dad was a strict disciplinarian. He went to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. I can remember my mom putting his lunch pail in the refrigerator at 9 p.m. 4:10 in the morning, he was out the door. He was home at 3:15. If you weren't at my dad's dinner table by 5:15, you got hit with something, a belt, a spoon, the back of his hand. He was very, very strict. If you had sports, he forgave you, but any other thing, you got whacked around. And you had to, before you could do anything in my house, you had to do your homework. That was my father. My father was like, you're not going to be outside where you're in direct sunlight and there's heavy lifting. He used to always say to me as a kid, I want you to have a job where you're indoors, out of direct sunlight, and there's no heavy lifting, right? He wanted a white collar life for me because he worked outside his whole life. And so I did what my parents wanted me to do. I went to Tufts, and then I was at Tufts. I read an article in Time magazine that they were paying lawyers $65,000 a year at a law firm I could have never gotten into, Cravath, Swaine and Moore. It was a white shoe firm. And I looked at that, I said, okay, my God, my dad's making $32,000 a year. I can go to law school, and after I'm done, my first year, I'll make more than my dad. That was my great thought process in going to law school.